We're going to talk today how EBSCO's Discovery Service can be used as an enterprise research platform to really broaden your scope of research and meet the expectations of your researchers. All of this while bringing pieces of the puzzle together that typically are missed by some of the solutions you might use today. So when we talk about an enterprise research platform, it's important to have this image in your head. These are the various pieces of the puzzle that are really challenging for today's librarians, research professionals, and knowledge managers. So as an example, today you're going to have something like an internet search page. And on that page, you're going to have a white search box. Now for a lot of your users, this white search box becomes the de facto repository of all information. And the expectation is they can put in a search here and they're going to get back results based off of relevancy, no matter what type of content they're looking for. The reality, however, is very different. What we typically see is that when information is populated into this search box, they're going to get one of two types of results. Either this error message where just nothing comes back and it's kind of letting them know that we're sorry, but we can't help you. Or they actually get back results, but as you can see, it lacks relevancy. While I searched for the words great in Gatsby, I specifically wanted the book, The Great Gatsby. This has found results based off of the text, but it really hasn't done the job that I was expecting. So let's take an example of something that really does meet expectations. This is Amazon. It curates multiple types of content and information for its users. I can do a search for books, tablets, or dresses. It's going to pull back results and it's going to characterize them by that particular type. Here's another example. Macy's. While they're a different type of a retailer, one we think of more for books and information and video sources, while another we think of more for retail, shoes, handbags, they both have to serve the same type of audience. So just like with the Amazon site, this white search box gives me the ability to access content from multiple types of items, and again brings them back in a categorized type of way. But how have we chosen to adopt our resources in the 21st century for our libraries? Not very well. So typically what we end up doing is creating a website with a lot of links to disparate sources. Here's the real challenge there. One, your user has to go into multiple interfaces in order to create a search. This can be time consuming. The other part of this that's really interesting is as you have all these links, does your user really know what each link represents? What the strength of one resource is compared to another, depending on the search that they need to conduct. So these are the challenges that we see. These are just some of the challenges, though, that are really parts of the puzzle that we're trying to solve when we talk about an enterprise research platform. To truly have a single search box that can cater to these challenges, as well as many other challenges that you might not be facing today, but that you're sure to face tomorrow. That's the goal. So let's talk about something called discovery intelligence. You want the ability, in an ideal world, to search all of your valued resources. And from those resources, pull back the results that are relevant. This is the belief of something like a Google. Google, I would call an enterprise research platform because your users feel like once they search it, they're going to be pulling back results from multiple places. The challenge with Google, however, is it doesn't have the ability to sort through this ocean of information and pull back results based off of your specific holdings, internal repositories that you might have, catalogs, or just other resources that you've identified as valuable to you, and you just want to make sure that you're raising the visibility of it. For that, you're going to need a more specialized platform. So what happens when you implement a discovery service? Discovery is that idea of being able to search that one search box, pull back results based off of relevancy, satisfy your users, and give you a platform that can allow you to use the pieces of the puzzle that meet your users' requirements. So let's take a look at a current customer of EBSCO Discovery Service, Workplace Safety and Prevention. As with most libraries, they had a list of resources and the user would have to select which one was most relevant. Moving with an enterprise research platform search tool like EBSCO's Discovery Service, they now have reduced their links and search boxes to 2. There's one search box in the upper right. This one is going to be your traditional intranet search, and users expect to only find internal content there. Then they've used this second search box for the EBSCO Discovery Service as their research portal for all things e-resource specific. Their journals, magazines, ebooks, catalog items, institutional repository, even patents and standards can now all be found from one search box. But let's take a look at what happens when you don't have an enterprise research platform tool. PubMed is a gold standard for research and information for workplace safety and prevention. However, like all databases, it has a finite amount of content that it indexes. So if I were to go to PubMed and conduct a search for an item like Z412, it pulls back 0 results. It's not indexed content in a medical gold standard database like PubMed. So now the user hits that level of frustration and they realize that they have to go into another resource in order to check that particular item. As the frustration builds, what we typically see is users will default to a resource like Google. The nice thing about Google is, unlike PubMed, it doesn't index simply one resource. It tries to index the entire internet. Well, the challenge with that is you get a lot of results, and as you're seeing in this particular one, not the result that I'm looking for. My Z412 is a pretty specific search of an item that I actually have ownership of. So this also is a frustration point within my search model. So what Workplace Safety and Prevention did in order to address the needs of their users is adopt EBSCO Discovery Service as an enterprise research platform that would give them the best of both worlds. When I conduct my search, I have a broad amount of results, in this case 19, that are very specific to the subscriptions and holdings that I have that have identified Z412 as an item that's indexed. But this platform also gives me the ability to limit my results. And in this case, I know that it's an internal catalog item that I want. So by simply selecting that limiter, I'm now revealed with just the one result that I expect. This is the value and what happens when you have an EBSCO Discovery Service platform in your infrastructure. So Chappy, are you telling me that with one search box, I can search across multiple source types, pull back results, rank them by relevancy, and get my users to full text? Yes. Yes, I am. Outsell did a great job of defining what a discovery platform is. It's going beyond just the findability based off of words and really using things like indexing, context, and the filtering capability to really get to the information you need quickly. This is from a 2014 analyst report that Outsell published, where they really show the differentiators with a discovery platform like EBSCO Discovery Service in its ability to give you relevancy ranking, content suggestions, as well as this faceted display and browse capability. Again, these are things that you're not going to find in a platform like Google. So, with all this being the case, how does discovery make things work better? So far, we've talked a lot about the interface and the user, what it feels like to actually conduct a search and to pull back results, and the frustrations that that can bring. There's another side to this picture, however. There's a bigger part of the puzzle that we also need to address, and that's how the knowledge managers, the librarians, and the entity as a whole can now benefit from this research, where before that information was very difficult to quantify, measure, and gather. Again, when we look at the pieces of the puzzle, there are many pieces that really have to fit together to make the solution your own. Some of those pieces you have today, some of those pieces you're not going to really encounter until tomorrow. When we talk about things like usage reports, that really helps define the direction your enterprise research platform needs to follow. So as an example, if you think of a smartphone where you have multiple apps and items that you can install over time as needed, that's what this enterprise research platform gives you. And just like the data usage on that smartphone, with an enterprise research platform, your access to full text and usage goes up. Because for the first time, users find it easy to connect from the relevant results to the full text about that result. So these are some examples of other companies that have deployed EBSCO Discovery Service and seen a huge increase in their full text access. What's important to note here are two things. One, this is full text that they always had access to. The challenge with having to go into different interfaces and conduct multiple searches meant that while one interface was really skilled at pulling back the result, maybe that wasn't the interface that actually had your full text subscription. So there was a disconnect. If your user was smart, they would go to maybe a third, fourth, or fifth interface and conduct that same search off of the result that they liked and then identify how they could get to the full text. But again, that increases the frustration and adds to the difficulty. The other thing that's important to recognize is typically these interfaces will only index the content that you subscribe to. Well, how do you know if the best result just was something that was beyond your subscription? That's where the indexing of a discovery platform is very different. It has indexing beyond just what you subscribe to. So if you do subscribe, great, you get the relevant result and you get the full text. But in cases where you don't currently have a subscription, you still get the relevant result, and you can have ways to kind of raise your hand or bring visibility to those resources that you have identified now are important to be successful in your role and responsibility. So these pieces of the puzzle really determine the success of any enterprise research platform. Not only do you have the responsibility to make sure that users are getting a return on the investment of the databases and the subscriptions that you have, but you also have a user base that you have to satisfy with making an interface that's customizable to their needs and keeps them coming back and using the product. It's only from that continued use that you're going to get the usage information that you need to make future decisions. Again, as in the Outsell report, a lot of moving parts, and we find ourselves moving beyond just a Google type of platform that can find results. We're moving beyond findability, and we're moving into real relevancy and the capability to customize a solution. In order to do that, there are a couple of key considerations that have to be part of your solution. So for a discovery service to really be adopted, it's got to meet these criteria. It's got to be easy to use. That's going to be defined more by your user base. What's easy for one person might not be easy for someone else. Or sometimes you have different departments that have different needs. Again, our platform can accommodate individual users as well as different groups. It's got to be fast. As your users are conducting research, they have to be able to find the results that they need quickly so they can move on to the next step in the process. Smart. By this I mean you've got to have the ability to leverage things like high quality metadata, the indexing of your databases, as well as your own knowledge of your users' needs in order to make sure that you've got a platform that represents their research perspectives. Easy to navigate. This can mean a lot of different things to different people. Sometimes it's as simple as pop-ups that can help people get from one job solution to the next job solution. In other cases, it might be having multiple profiles that are specific to their job task. For instance, a marketing group might not want to see results that are relevant to a research group. These are capabilities that we can implement within this platform. And the last piece is that it's got to be readable. You've got to have a way that you can very quickly curate your results, but then save those results that are of importance. A folder that of the 20 results that I had, these 10 not only do I think are relevant, but maybe I want to share these with someone else so that they can add context to it. These are the capabilities that are only achievable on an enterprise research platform. So here's the challenge. These are the pieces to the puzzle. I invite you to take a look at your infrastructure and identify how many of these pieces have you figured out the solution for, how many pieces are remaining, and how many of the pieces have you not even considered as of yet. Thank you for your time. Please use the contact information at the end of this video to reach out to us with any questions.